Hi everybody, this is Saad for the Sad Truth. I've previously remarked that there are more than 10,000 religions around the world, and hence thousands of gods that people have prayed to throughout human history. And I've also pointed to the fact that if you take any particular issue from the most serious of issues to the most mundane, you could identify two religions that prescribe the perfectly diametrically opposed edict on that particular issue. And so that should cause people to stop and wonder whether there's something suspicious going on. Today, what I wanted to do is give a sense of the extraordinary claim that one has to believe on a cosmological level when it comes to certainly Abrahamic religions. So we know that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, Moses, for example, was around, say, I think it was around 1300 BCE, so 1300 years before Christ, and then Christ came along, and then in the 610 roughly, so in the 7th century, Muhammad was born, and then he had his revelations and so on. So within a roughly 2,000-year period, you've had the manifestation of the divine that occurred within an extraordinarily small time period, if you like, on the evolutionary scale, in an unbelievably restrained geographical area. And so what I want to do today is to sort of put in context how amazing it must be that God decided to manifest himself, reveal himself within that particularly restrained geographical area and within such a short time period by giving you some cosmological numbers to sort of mull over. So here we go. Let me just read these for you. I just did a quick search online to come up with some of these numbers. So, of course, you know that we are part of the solar system, and the solar system is part of the Milky Way galaxy. So, do you have any idea how many stars there are in the Milky Way galaxy, the galaxy that we're a part of? 100 is the lower end, 100 billion to 400 billion, that's with a B. So 100 to 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, of which we're a part. To give you a sense of the size of the Milky Way galaxy, its diameter is somewhere between 100,000 to 180,000 light years. Now, what does that mean? A light year is the distance that would be covered if you traveled at the speed of light for a year. So what is the speed of light, you might ask? Well, let me give you the exact number. 186,282 miles per second. So 186,000 plus miles a second. If you traveled at that speed for a year, that would constitute 1 light year. The diameter of our Milky Way galaxy is 100,000 to 180,000 light years. So you could imagine it's a pretty big galaxy consisting of 100 to 400 billion stars, and yet God decided to show up and speak to Moses, and then to manifest himself through Jesus, and then to, of course, finally reveal himself to the true and final prophet, Muhammad, to say within a grain of salt would be a wrong analogy, because the size of the universe is of a scale that's much larger than the grain of salt would be in terms of how the Middle East is in relation to the universe. But let's give a few other numbers to give you a sense of how extraordinarily focused God was on that particular time period and that particular geography. Do you know how many galaxies there are? So everything that I've told you so far is for the Milky Way galaxy. Well, there was a recent report that came out that upped the number of galaxies to, you ready? Wait for it. Let me look here to make sure I'm getting this right. 2 trillion galaxies. 2 trillion with a T galaxies. There are 2 trillion galaxies, but God manifested himself, revealed himself to those 3 gentlemen during a, not even a nanosecond in terms of our evolutionary history, in a very specific area, always roughly around somewhere in the Middle East. Now, let me put it a slightly different way for you. I think it was the Hubble telescope that had been used to detect the furthest sort of outreach of the universe. I think the furthest galaxy that was detected is 13.4 billion light years away. So there is a galaxy that is 13.4 billion light years away. What does that mean? If you traveled at the speed of light for 13.4 billion years, you'd get to it. So remember, all of this is part of God's dominion. And yet, God chose to reveal himself to Moses, through Jesus, and through Muhammad during that very small period in a very, very small geographic area. The reason why I use these cosmological numbers is because for many of you, you might not be able to contextualize the size of the universe. So now you have a sense of how extraordinary it is that God was so focused in that particular region of the Middle East. So there you have it. Smells pretty reasonable to me. The Lord of the universe is uniquely focused on what amounts to a nano-inch. That's not even a good scale. I mean, it's nothingness, right? I mean, to talk about anything on Earth in terms of the vastness of the universe is to understate how insignificant we are. But boy, does God care about us, and uniquely cares about that particular region in the Middle East. So there you have it, folks. Maybe something for you to think about. And if not, continue believing in your beliefs, but don't push them on to anybody else. Hope you're having a good weekend. Talk to you soon. Cheers.